TV. We are the radio. That's TV. We are the radio. That's TV.
Okay, Dead TV. We are the radio. Broadcasting live from central Berlin and simulcasting here from Reykjavik, Iceland. Hey, you know what? On the phone, I've got my friend Bev Davies over in Canada. I'm going to go over and flop over to that and adjust your screen really quick. Hi, Bev. What's going on? Marvin Gaye.
I just got in from going to a movie tonight.
Okay.
I McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
How's that?
I kept falling asleep. You know, I haven't been sleeping much, so.
Well, we're old.
It was really good.
We're old as the hills.
Well, the movie wrapped 40 years ago this month.
Oh, so this was a golden oldie.
Yeah, it was shot here in British Columbia, over on the mountainside.
I have a question.
A lot of people, yeah.
Is British Columbia still very British?
Well, I think Victoria on the island really, really plays on that English stuff, but
Boy, I love it there.
I don't know.
I love all those islands out there, Whidbey Island and everything, even though they clear cut a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it's really scary when you fly over one of those little planes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You can see a road and there's trees on either
Yeah, I
side
know.
of it, like just a little fake road. And everything else is gone.
Looks like a lesbian hairdresser just went at it. Just gave it a mohawk. Nothing. I'm not saying about anybody's orientation. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm just making wisecracks.
Yeah, so how are you tonight?
Well, right now it's 9:30 a.m. over here. So
in the right.
yeah, I'm in the bright sunlight. It's very cold. I can look right here for you and let you know.
Well, it was 1 degree yesterday when you were talking to Nani. So is it colder than that?
It's -5 Celsius right now.
Oh my God, that's cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up and it wasn't just frost. It was like ice had come out of the wood of the railings at the hospital. So it was like.
Oh, I had calculated silver meat.
Yeah, I just did that for a second. That was my they call it on a Macintosh a dashboard, and it has like your little speedometer and calendar.
I got one somewhere here. It keeps popping up every now and again.
Okay, you said you have a dirty
I was
shirt
going to show
on.
you the back.
What does the shirt say on the
I
front?
have what?
What's your shirt say on the front?
Well, it's got Satan
of course.
molesting some woman.
Bev must
And on the back, I don't know if you can see it. It says heavy fucking metal.
Bev, grow up.
I know. Well, it was in my size. What can I say? You know, heavy metal bands. It was one of the bands that opened for Boris.
Okay, and we might as well tell people you're out there on the scene. Bev's my friend, but also she's a talented photographer and has been for quite some time. So she's not just some crazy old lady that I'm talking to. We're friends, and we're both artists. And Joy's going to shows, concerts over there on the left coast, which is up there in Vancouver area. And boy, you know, we have our own small islands. The United States does up there. Like I said, Whidbey Island and all that stuff. But it would be a shame if I wasn't allowed to ever go out and visit there in Canada again.
Yeah, I know.
For no reason whatsoever. But I can understand if they don't want me to ever be welcome in their country. I just think that it's an embarrassment, not on me.
Well, you know, I was thinking about it today, like, you know where the Peace Arch is?
Yeah.
Well, that's no man's land. So, I mean, you can go in, you can't go into Canada, but you can go up to where the Peace Arch is.
Right, I could go to the duty free.
Yeah, well,
Barf.
no, because, yeah, you can. But, and I can actually cross into and go to the Peace Arch because I would just be going back into Canada.
Yeah, but we're too old for that shit being tricky and all that. Like, look at me. Oh, I'm sneezing on Canada. Oh, it's my snot.
Otherwise, I'm never going to see you, you know. I mean, I see you on television.
Well, I thought you said you might come to Switzerland or one of these places.
Oh, I know. I know. I have a ticket on $50 million. I haven't looked yet. There's a chance that I win it.
At one of these lotteries, you mean?
Yeah, 50 million.
Well,
Canadian.
what's that, about 40 cents?
No, the Canadian dollar is actually worth more than
I
the
know.
American dollar.
Well, I don't have a horse. I don't have a horse in that race. See,
No, you don't.
I've got
Oh, yeah,
I've
you
got
do.
some American and Canadian money laying around for whenever you guys all figure that out. But
That's weird.
yeah, I don't care. You
Weird.
guys can rip off, file trade my music equally the same. You know, so then it just goes out to me being more disappointed in North America in general. No, actually, I've had so much support from both those places. I don't know what to say anymore. I just wish that people would just chill out. Boy, I'll tell you what I did see, sweetheart.
What?
Well, I get up real early with the dawn. I saw that moon and that star,
Oh.
the one that's on all the
No.
flags in the sky.
The crescent.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you can call me crazy, but I bet you that sets off more Arabs than anything else when they see their flag right in the sky. But that would be premature for them to all go completely nuts. Do you understand what I'm saying? That'd be like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, really, because they better have a better plan than just lighting a fire. Which is, when I was listening to Street Fighting Man this morning, I don't know if you were on when I played that Stone song.
No.
But in that song, Mick's talking about, he's kind of hinting that he's like trying to play both sides of the fence. It's a song that sounds like it's revolutionary, but he's like, he's talking about how all the people that say that it's time for a violent revolution have no real new solution. So
Right.
Mick's already decided he's going to hang out with the privileged people.
He's an accountant.
So yeah, he went to business school. But so anyways, I'm reading that book. I'm reading Keith Richards' book right now.
Yeah, me too. I have it right over here.
What a bunch of
Come on,
hoo-ha,
let's
boy.
go.
What a guilty little punk that
It's
guy
gone off
is.
the table.
He claims a lot of things that are absolute BS.
Oh,
But that's what a good writer does. It's just talk bullshit. But it seems like he's got a guilty conscience about Brian. So much so.
yeah.
He's like, oh,
Brian and
well, he's like Anita. He's
it's
like,
a love.
yeah, that Anita thing. He's like, oh, I just wanted to, she was like one of the pivotal women, you know, like an archetypal woman. I just wanted to admire her from afar. I wasn't going to do anything. But then I knew, you know, but I couldn't say anything. I knew that either she was going to have me or I was going to have her. And Brian, he was just being a dick. It just sounds like hindsight, man.
And then when
It just
Anita
starts.
was
It starts
filming-
in the beginning of the book. I already know about. Don't spoil the end for me.
Oh, no, I'm only at chapter 2.
Shit, I'm way in. I read way over 100 pages at a sitting. So
Wow.
yeah, I got that kind of
No,
mind.
so when Anita was in performance, that
Yeah, we already know the story. Let's not make this about him. But I want to just tell you something though. He talks about, he walks upstairs at that bar and it's just Ian Stewart sitting at the piano and he talks about how Ian started the band. And I'm like, really, that's cool. So Ian Stewart shows up for an ad he saw that Brian put in a paper, but Ian Stewart starts the band. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I read about this guy starting a band in the paper. I went and showed up and it's my band. I started it from that article I read in the paper that somebody placed for me to come and be in their band. It's just like, wow, how did the editor even let that guy? Does the guy have that much money that he could pay somebody to read that sentence and go, I didn't just read that.
Yeah.
Because I just read it and I was just like, dude, you need to stay with Walt Disney movies, dude, making Mickey Mouse, motherfucker, making fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, and leave this writer stuff to people that you know
That's
what I mean?
a movie. Pirates of the Caribbean is a movie based on a ride at Disneyland.
I know, but what I'm saying is like that's what he's good at. That's what he's good at, being grandpa in the movies now. He's not good at lying and being an author. Because if poor old Anton, crazy old Anton, can just sit there and read into that and just go, this guy's full of shit. And he does it over and over again, like when he's name dropping the court system and the Masonic shit, man. He just is so full of shit. Like he's in the beginning, he's talking about his lawyer Carter, and his lawyer's paid to keep him out of his trouble, and his lawyer is like so fed up with the system because his lawyer worked for Kennedy and everything, right? He's fed up with the corruption of the feds, and he's fed up with all this shit. Meanwhile, the whole story is about him pulling strings and being corrupt and being part of this system that he hates so much. So I'm like, what a dickhead. Keith Richards is a dickhead to even write about that stuff. I guess he must know something that I don't, which is that it's all gone. Of course, I know that too, because everybody can't have that secret in that those guys paid for. Mm-hmm. You know? Because then dickheads like Keith Richards write about it. Well, I'll just come right out and say it on international television. I think that guy's fucking partied to murder. So, you can look right in my eyes when I say that, Keith. I think you fucking killed Bryant. In fact, more than one person thinks that. I think we know. So fuck you, Keith Richards, and your blue gums. How's that?
That's good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't care what Anita has to say about it.
Oh.
And I don't care.
I thought I looked old till I looked at Anita. Anyway.
Yeah, we're not making fun of old ladies or anything. She wrote me on MySpace and said I wouldn't even last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So what, man? Maybe her whole planet won't last. I might outlive her. Who knows? But I'm in good shape. Yeah. But I heard that prediction so many times in my fucking life, it's not even funny, so.
Yeah, right? those are the opposite of well-wishers, whatever the hell those kind of
people are. It is wishful thinking, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wishful thinking, but it's not good wishful thinking.
Well, we don't believe in good and bad, man. That's like the same.
You
know, there's some idiots, they forget, you know, like there's a lot of people that think there's some kind of white magic that they can go. It's like magic minus all the negativity. And they're not even thinking about the Sami witches, the people that control all the ley lines and the portals up in the north, the white witches in a matriarchal clan. They're never even thinking about it. They're just thinking about Merlin in his cave. They're like, well, I don't like spiders, so this is all that magic without that spider stuff. They're not even thinking about the complete polar opposite of what hiding in a cave means, a snow cave. But fuck them, people. It's too late to learn how to do all that shit, if you ask me. So what else are we going to talk about? Are we blowing people's minds today, or are we just having fun? We're just making it up as we go along, huh?
Yeah, just because it never happened doesn't mean it isn't true.
That's right, man. We're all into fairies and dust and all that stuff. We're old people.
Speak for yourself.
We were having fun in the 60s. I was busy born.
Yeah, you were busy getting born.
Yeah, that's like Dylan said. You were relaxing your mind and floating downstream, according to a song.
Yeah. Of
the same year. Same vintage.
Yeah.
Boy, you took that literally, didn't you? You're like, hey, man, I got the all okay from the top down. Did you notice
I remember...
Go ahead.
I remember being at the first Easter bee in Toronto.
Yeah.
And
with a bee? Handed me was there a buzzing bee?
Some cigarette to smoke. They said, here, have this. It's banana peels. And I slid down a tree. You know, I mean, I just couldn't stand up anymore. Of course, it wasn't banana peels.
All you girls just were going nuts.
I went and bought, like, bananas. I thought, wow, you know, that's really cool. How could we have missed that it was DMT?
Yeah, well, that'll do it to you, sweetheart.
Oh, I know. Way more than bananas, but that's supposedly what Mellow Yellow was all about. I love
Of course. Yeah, we love Donovan.
He's excellent.
Keith Richards is saying that in the book he says that boy, that King Casey has someone to answer for.
Casey?
Yeah. He tried to blame like the '60s and acid and everything on King Casey with that book, but but you know Keith. That's how once again Keith's smoking something. Keith can fuck off because check it out.
Oh, you're spoiling. No, you're not spoiling the book. Never mind.
I'm just telling you.
I'll get there in my time.
No, this is Keith's mindset from a drunken, dope-headed, coke-headed fool. He's blaming that author, right? The Mary Frank. He's bringing them. But he's completely forgetting about where his bank account's located in Switzerland, where they invented LSD, right?
Yeah.
He's just ignoring. He's like, I don't want to piss off anybody in Switzerland because they're going to knock me off on WikiLeaks. Tell everybody how much money I really hid from the government. Boy, if I was Keith Richards, he's probably writing a book right now, waiting for those new checks to come in because when they unzip Keith Richards, because you know that's what they're going to do, and they show you how much money Keith Richards has ripped everybody off for. Man, that's what Keith Richards should be worried about. He shouldn't be worried about old Ken Kesey, dead or alive, right? He should be worried about his Swiss bankers knocking him off because he's busted.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't be
Ken Kesey's son. His son is a friend of mine on MySpace, but I can't get on MySpace.
I can't either, man.
Get on.
I can't figure that mumbo jumbo out. But fuck Rupert Murdoch. Rupert shouldn't be worried about old Anton and Bev. Rupert should be worried about WikiLeaks and his Swiss bank account.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, Canada's doing this real weird thing with Swiss bank accounts because they got a bunch of people's account numbers.
Oh, they got everybody's. They got everybody's by. They went by mistake. They're going to go for it all the way. They're going to bust.
They want the taxes.
Yeah, they're going to bust everybody who thinks they're not busted. The first people that run for it, they're going to catch them at the airports when the planes take off and when they land. They're going to get all those people.
Now, why? If I was going to open up a Swiss bank account after I win the
$2 million,
why would I use my own name? Why wouldn't I use Brian?
You know what? I'll tell you why. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Swiss rules. If you don't register it correctly, then they just
it's not yours?
They automatically confiscate it. They might let you think while you're putting more money in it.
How come they have army knives when they're always neutral?
They guard the Pope.
No,
that's a Swiss guard.
Is it really? Is it them?
No, they have a full standing army, but that's defense. That's
they've always just been neutral in all the wars. So I thought
that doesn't mean come into Switzerland and fuck up Switzerland though. They got everybody serves in the Swiss army.
Have you ever been to Luxembourg?
Sure, I have. I've been to all these places.
Excellent.
Yeah, but that's not very big, you know. Luxembourg.
I know
we played there.
Oh, excellent.
We played there a couple times. We played in this big, the government has a mixed media center that can be used for a convention or, you know, you can have the Maple Leafs play in the big room, easy. It's like that big. I think it holds 20,000, 15,900 people or something. But then they divide it. So we end up playing in these rooms that could hold 4,500 people, but they'll just put up bar tables where you stand up. They roll in the catering. But when we play there and stuff, we just pull our tour bus on the other side. Could you imagine Iron Maiden playing at some place? It's like that. We actually pull the tour bus into this building, just park it, and then we go into one of these other larger rooms. And they're massive. You know, they're the kind of buildings that you could just pull a rocket into, full standing up. You're like one of those NASA buildings. They're like that big. But the people there are really good to us and everything. You know, I don't know what to say. It's just a shame. A lot of these places, you know, being a fuck off and into rock and roll or whatever, you know, there's just so many distractions in this world. You kind of got to just catch people at the crossroads when they're traveling. Like, people hear about you and they're like, oh, I'm going to Luxembourg anyways to do this. And then you get some of the people that are into civic. They work like in Strasbourg or something. Like, we played some festivals there. You know, it's not like a city like where everybody wants to live in Paris or Berlin or one of these places like I live in. So they have always got each city has its own style and its bars and everything. But in these other places like Brussels and Belgium and Zurich and some of these places, you know, people work in the financial. Their nightlife is like a second priority, right?
In their day job is the first priority?
Well, yeah, like people that go to live in Zurich, you know, they're working for a clockmaker, they're working finance or something, right? So their whole thing isn't dropping out of society necessarily. It's making a clock tick on time or making sure every cent is accounted for, not coming in to work drunk.
Well, when I was in England in 1963 and 1964 for a month each summer.
Yes.
And the radio station that you could listen to rock and roll, the only one, because
one of the
the
great
BBC
ones
wouldn't play rock and roll at all. Was Radio Luxembourg.
Well, they also had Radio Caroline for a while, but yeah.
And then there was Radio Caroline and some other of the ships.
Yeah, the offshore stuff. There. Boy, that's amazing that you actually heard some of that.
Yeah, I took my little transistor radio over with me and listened to that stuff.
Wow, this is a gold mine of information, speaking of gold. Well, you seem like you're in a good mood, sweetheart.
Luxembourg. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
You're faring thee well.
Yeah, it's different around here because I've never really been in this house without Grinder around, so it's a little bit of getting used to it.
Yeah, well, you know, I've tried to talk to you about that a little bit.
And thank you and Nani and all kinds of people for their kind words.
Well, you know, like Nani and I and stuff, you know, we have friends and family. Do you understand? And so none of this is like crazy talk, okay? And I'll be here, you know, so like I was saying yesterday, I said, well, we're going to be friends until, gosh, who knows? Till I die. I'll probably go before you do. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I think. I'm not.
Yeah, I used to live with this guy Rick, and he's gone now. But he was in a band, the Bill of Rights, and he was quite a bit younger than me. And he used to tell people if they said anything about the difference in age, he said, "Yeah, when I'm 96, she'll probably be dead." You know, it's like that was his look at it. But he's gone now.
Yeah, well, I don't mean it like any other way except my time is important, you know? So, like we had Colin Oliver, I guess is his name, from Scotland, coming home from his exams. You know, he's just a teenager, like 17 years old, calling into the show the other day from Scotland, right? Makes no difference to me whether you're your age or his age, you know. His head is screwed on. We're talking about the same kind of stuff, how music is shit or whatever, and how we just want to have a good time. But just because the world's going crazy didn't mean he didn't show up for exams. And with everything that I know, telling you about the stars in the sky or whatever, or the Swiss bank accounts, didn't mean that I still don't show up to do whatever I have to do the way I see fit.
Yeah, how's that studio coming along? Speaking of what you're doing,
I got this feeling that they're going to move everybody to like these like 4G internet and all these iPad things, right? And then it's going to be harder to get some of these big computers that you only use for web developing and for web editing, because nobody's going to edit a film on an iPad. That ain't going to happen. So maybe we'll still have G4s and G5s and all that stuff with Macintosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're waiting. They're waiting for me.
Canada?
Go ahead.
what they're doing here in Canada is they're to start, all of the internet providers are starting in February or March. They're going to start billing us extra for everything we use over a certain bandwidth. And I actually went over mine without downloading any movies at all, or I don't play games on there, you know, I download a bit of music and I upload a lot of photographs, but I went over by 9 gigabytes in one 30-day.
So you're fucked.
So I have no idea.
You're fucked.
It's just a ripoff, you know?
Yeah, well, is that Rogers giving you the
know.
finger? Is that Rogers company? Who's your ISP?
No, it's Shaw. Same thing. Rogers is doing it. Shaw's doing it.
Shaw. I thought you were from the Shaw clan.
providers
I
here.
thought you're from the Shaw clan. Aren't you the grand dame of the Shaws?
No.
You wish, huh?
No. No, not really.
You could be
It's such a
Pashaw.
hated name in Canada.
They're old.
Everybody hates Shaw, and if they, you know, got a moment left, then they hate Rogers, you know?
Yeah,
There are television providers, too.
sure.
Total ripoff.
Those families.
Satellite.
Those
Total
families.
ripoff.
Let's see, I already played Catholic Discipline.
But, you know, I don't know.
I'm listening.
What are you going to play?
I'm going to play Music Machine. Can we cut to a song?
Is going there. Yeah, that'd be great.